I love her so much. Okay, guys. So, I'm about to bring on Flo. So, what I want to do though, real quick, is I want to give you guys a quick bio on her because I just want to jump into stuff. So, all that, like, and then where'd you start, and where you from, and what happened? Like, go somewhere else because here you're about to get into the goods because she got good. So, I'm gonna just read you her bio so you have all them tidbits, and we don't have to go through it. So, let's talk about it. Um, Flo Ngala is a New York-based photographer with a passion for authentic image making and photojournalism. With parental roots in West Africa and a love for culture and creativity birthed at a young age, since picking up a camera, she's continued to pursue powerful light and powerful moments with people around the world. In 2019, she landed a cover photo in the New York Times with insightful reportage on Black figure skaters from her hometown, herself being a former one, and the project being her first assignment with the paper. Personal photography for artists Cardi B and Gucci Mane also paved the way for Ngala's rise as a young talent in the photo and music space. With an eye for everyday life, it's no surprise that viewers of her work admire her images, which bring them into the spaces she is in so seamlessly. Yes, Flo, I love you. So come on in. So this is press. Like I said, she did BTS photos for this. Amazing, stunning visual. So that's why this is the background music. Flo, come into the room. Request. Let me see you. Let me see you. Um, y'all, welcome Flo into the room. Give her all the energy, okay?
Oh
Flo!
my God.
Hey!
Literally, I'm sitting here. I'm like, I don't even know if I need to get on. I could just watch you talk. Oh
What?
no.
Stop it right now. Stop
No,
it.
seriously. Wow. Thank you so much. Like,
I'm
I'm like emotional. Seriously. I'm like sitting here like, that was amazing.
what? What? Your bio's amazing. You're amazing.
No,
Like,
I mean, just like, I mean, honestly, like Angelique, like I didn't know you were gonna do the intro with Angelique, so I was like, okay, cool. He said he's gonna do an intro. I should jump on at 2:15, but I didn't know it was gonna be her. And then she's like talking about me and how I met her. It just speaks to the authenticity thing, and like I love her so much too. I love working with her. So I'm like, wow, people appreciate me for like what I
oh,
do. So I'm
are
like,
you kidding? Absolutely, we appreciate you. And it's so weird because, like, you're this young, like, you're so young, but it feels like you're so mature. Like, I mean, your
thank
eye is mature, but also, like, even speaking of Angelique, Angelique has obviously a bigger relationship with you than I do, even though you're my friend in my head and have been for quite some time now. But yeah, like, even she always talks to, like, she's so mature, like, she's so smart, like, and so it's just so crazy. I'm so glad to have you on. So welcome, first of all, to the Creative
thanks.
Genius community, which is full of like-minded creatives who support and encourage and motivate each other. And I knew that you would be able to come on and have some gems for the people based on your experience. So I really wanted to have you on. So thank you for coming so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for
Uh,
having me. I just want to say, are you gonna tell them how I ran into you yesterday on
yeah, yes,
campus?
yes, yes.
Like
Okay.
alignment or what?
That
Seriously.
was crazy. So yesterday I was supposed to see. Well, there's a few things. Okay, I'm gonna do it real quick. So first
Okay,
of all,
okay.
I stalked Flo because I went to one of her events. She had an event with Sprite, and I wanted to go with like a photography workshop. I'm not a photographer, but of course I love all creatives and the process. So I wanted to go because I wanted to support her, and I've been a fan for so long. So I did that a few months ago, and I introduced myself and like, okay, you don't really know me, but I know you. I love you. We have friends in common. And then I had used her images of Cardi backstage at the Met Gala because I did an event with Colin Carter, Cardi's stylist. So remember, I was already kind of obviously privy to your work in that regard. But then we text each other. I DM'd her like to ask her if she would come on and like, okay, do you mind coming on? I'd love you to come on and talk to the people. And then she gave me her number. Well, I gave her my number, and then she texted me back, and I looked back, and we had talked 2 years ago to the week. We talked 2 years ago because I was trying to
Oh,
book
to
her
the
for
week?
another job. To the
Damn.
week. It
I
was
didn't
to the
know.
week. It was to the
Whoa.
week. And so it was a
You
job for
can't make
this.
that shit up. You really
You
can't.
can't make that shit up. So that was a job for St. John that I wanted you to shoot, but we couldn't coordinate it right. But once you text me, I was like, oh my God, I forgot that I tried to reach out to you years ago to try to work with you. So that was that. Then yesterday, after I got off live, I was walking to the store and I was like, I got to call Flo. She's coming on tomorrow. I just want to kind of do a rundown with her. And literally, as I'm walking out the door, I see her on the corner of my street riding her bike with her cousins. And I'm like, Flo? What? It was
And
so
I'm like,
crazy.
no, that was really dope. And the thing is, the funny thing too is like, I think I was telling you, so I guess I'll just kind of jump into it. But
Jump into it.
I've been sort of like in this weird state of like, okay, I consider myself a photojournalist. I've been blessed to work with the Times and Rolling Stone and like do things I'm really proud of. But it's so weird, like in this time where I feel like I should be capturing something, I should be, you know, putting my own spin or take on like the way I'm seeing the effects of like this pandemic affecting my community or affecting like New York City. I'm like, I don't know why I can't like get out of my house and do something. And so like it hit me the other day to start photographing my mother, who's an essential worker. And she literally just got her nursing assistant, like her CNA certification like a year ago. But
Wow.
obviously she didn't know she was going to be, you know, just months later,
Yeah.
basically hopping into one of the most dangerous like medical atmospheres to be working in. And so I was on my way to like 191 with my sister and my cousin, and sadly like we didn't like follow like the best route, so we ended up just being like, all right, whatever, we're gonna just go back and ride up 145th. So it was a chance like encounter, but to me, like I was telling you when I bombarded you with all my words on like the corner, I was just like, I just feel like this keeps happening to me, and I just feel like this is a sign, like no, but seriously, but I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and then I ran into you. So, which is, yeah, it was just really, it was a really good, you know, cosign from like the universe, I feel like.
Yes. The universe is constantly sending cosigns. So, okay, so on your Instagram today, you posted about coming on, and you were like, just so you guys are clear, I'm in my bag and I'm dropping gems. Like, so you're in your bag. So you know what? I have pointed questions, which I do, and we'll get to some of them. But I want to allow you the opportunity to start this conversation based on where you are and what's in your head. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to. I mean, yeah, definitely feel free to cut me off because, I mean, Angelique or anyone who knows me will tell you I could literally just talk someone.
Okay, so I do. Okay, so let's say this. Okay, so we have 40 minutes, right?
Okay.
We have let's time this. We have 40 minutes. There are some questions I want to get to, but I do want to start where you are, and I feel like we'll kind of go around. But yeah, if I need to like jump in and be like, okay, cool, I'll do that. But go.
Yeah. Okay. No, so I think well, first and foremost, I feel like people were saying, you know, I'm home. The best thing about this social distancing and quarantine time is like, you know, I can do work on myself and all that stuff. And I loved that for people. And I like appreciated that. But I was like 2-3 weeks in, like in my bed, like watching Netflix, like showering every other day, like to keep it really real. Like if I can do that on here, like just not.
Of course you can, please.
Not doing much. And I feel like I forgot what it was for me, but like something kind of clicked. I think I started exercising again. I think I started moving my body. I started like, you know, I'm an athlete. Like you mentioned the figure skating and Harlow piece I did for the Times. Like I did that for years, and I'm finding more and more that psychologically, like kinetic energy and movement for me, like stimulates progress, stimulates like action. And so when I'm like dormant and when I'm stagnant and like the ways that, you know, it's really easy to fall into, like literally like I can't mentally push myself past, you know what I mean? What my physical body is actually pushing myself past. So I think that was like the first thing. And then now I'm like in this really beautiful spiritual space and like this really like, this like space of honesty that I've been in. And I think it's been like maybe like a week or two, really. I've had like these really honest conversations with like my best friend, with my family, just like these really harsh truths and these really the people who know me are able to tell me things about myself, and I've been in the space to listen, and I feel like that is what's revealing all these other great things to happen. And I know that might sound like a little abstract, but like it makes sense to me, and I think that's the beautiful thing. And so I was telling you I was watching that Sarah Jakes Roberts I was supposed to text you the link. I forgot.
You were supposed to send me that, yes.
I was. But you guys should all watch. It's called Girl Get Up. It's Sarah Jakes Roberts, who's obviously like an amazing, really anointed woman of God, and she's also the daughter of Bishop T.D. Jakes. And so I was just sort of like looking for like something. I love knowledge. I love seeking knowledge. I'm one of those people who's like really into self-help books or self-help videos. So I've been watching all this stuff, and I think it's just finally like permeating my conscious on a deeper level. So I think that that's why this project, like what I'm gonna do with my mom, was even able to sort of like flow past my like mind, and I was able to catch it because I'm in a space, that same 16-year-old space, that same 17-year-old space, 18-year-old space of just artistry, ready to create, ready to receive, and just kind of like getting rid of bad habits, getting rid of like anxiety, and like I have a lot of anxiety about a lot of things. I didn't even realize that's what it was. Like when people started to use that term more, I didn't associate that with who I am, but like that definitely like it seeps out. I was getting angry at my mom about things. I'm very like my temper is super, super short, and I'm like super blunt, which is good and bad, but it's like I'm just learning a lot about myself overall. So that's the space I'm in. That's where I'm at, and I turned 25 in 3 weeks. My birthday's at the end of May, so I feel like it's been a good, yeah, it's been a good like, it's been a good it's been a good setup for that. You know what I mean? Like a good like for that next year.
Got you.
Yeah.
So okay, so even in this space, so because
Hi,
one thing that
Ngala.
I think that a lot of people are thinking is like they either feel like they're not doing enough in this time, and I love the fact that you allowed yourself during the time whenever you weren't creating. Did you feel anxious, or were you allowing yourself
Yeah.
to just be like you did?
Yeah, well, I think so. For starters, like I'm newly represented, so actually, like my agent's texting me right now, and she's such an awesome person. But I feel like even with like signing to an agency, I still have this like ego. There's still like I just want you to know I got here on my own, and you're just like helping. You know what I mean? Like this sort of like resistance to like anything. I've always been kind of a stubborn kid because it's like I think I'm blessed because yes, I do think I'm a smart person, but it just kind of makes you put this wall up sometimes where you feel like you don't need to hear anything because you like know anything, know everything, or you don't want to give people like that satisfaction of like, oh, you helped or whatever. So
Yeah.
I got your question, but I was getting somewhere.
No, I was just saying the idea of allowing yourself at this time to then
Right,
get into a space where you actually are inspired. Because people are trying,
right.
I feel like a lot of creatives are either trying to make themselves be inspired during this time because they
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
they
yeah.
should. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what I was saying. So yeah, so I've been texting my agent, and she was like, you should be doing your self portraits. You're home all the time. You should be capturing your community. And I was just like, dang, like I don't feel it. Like I don't have that
Yeah.
that And I think it's a couple things. I think for one, like I said, you have to sort of like figure out, at your core, like who are you? Why do you create what you create? Why do you like what inspires you? You know what I mean? Like you have to get back to that space. I think that artistry and creativity is a talent, and it's something that you can force it. You can sit in a meeting and pop out some shit or be on a call and pop some stuff out. But I think that all of us at our like most organic creative selves, like it's that like childhood, like that innate, that just like free flowing, and I think that being adults, like that vision gets cloudy. We don't realize that we're like not in a space to receive those ideas, and then obviously
Mm,
like to actually get the discipline to do it. If you're not passionate about something, it just makes it 10 times harder to actually get your ass up and do whatever it is. So I would say to most people, this sounds super like cliche, but yeah, like you should just be patient with yourself. Honestly, like trust the process. I feel like for some people something may come out of this period. For some people, nothing may come out of this period. And I think that's really okay. Like that's like we've never
okay.
experienced this before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's okay. So I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you're not doing things that are like self-sabotaging, like
Exactly.
eating super so much, not taking care of yourself, that's
Yeah.
that's what I wouldn't condone. But otherwise, just being patient.
Exactly. So remember that, guys. Be compassionate with yourselves, especially during this time, because there's so much going on. Like you said, we've never dealt with this before. So as much as we encourage creativity and we want you to create in whatever ways you want to, if you don't want to, or if you're not feeling it right now, then you don't have to. Okay, so off my soapbox. Hey, Flo. Okay, so that's I understand you're in your bag in that regard, but tell me, how did you start? Like, so you're like, I see you as you're obviously a young creative who already has a certain level of success, but I'm so excited about your future. But tell me a little bit about how you got where you are now. Like, when did you first pick up a camera? When did you know this is what you wanted to do for as a career path?
Okay, yeah. So, great question. So, started in like middle school. I did middle school, high school. I was about 8th grade, 9th grade. We had different electives, like different art electives that we could take. And so I got to do photography and some painting, like printmaking, different things like that. And then I liked photography so much that going into high school, I decided to make that like my art concentration. So yeah, 9th, 10th, 11th grade. Then I was in honors in 12th grade. But graduating, I didn't really see the need to like major in photography. I felt like the things that I loved about images were not technical. It was more of a visceral thing. It was more of an emotional thing. It was super like, you know, I can look at a Gordon Parks image and like literally tear up because of like something that doesn't have to do with what I can learn in the classroom, like for real. And that's actually happened before. Like I remember the first time I tried at like art was like a Gordon Parks photograph. And so I decided to major in advertising instead and minor in design. And I didn't really think that I was going to be like a professional photographer. So I went on to do like 2 or 3 internships into college / out of college, like in the sort of advertising space. One of them was in California. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure the wind doesn't knock down my computer. One was in San Francisco, like right after, like so I graduated, and literally like the next day, like was like on a flight to like San Francisco, which to me at like 21 or whatever, I was like, this is my best life. Like I'm out here
I'm living my best. I'm out here.
Yeah, I was like, shoot, like that was super awesome. So being able to do that was cool. Then I came back, had another internship downtown, which was also such a blessing and definitely like exposed me to a network of creatives and strategists and producers. Like I didn't understand the way that advertising worked from the inside. I'd just been learning it in a classroom. So being able to sit in like these meetings and like get to listen to people and learn was really, really a blessing. But then yeah, like honestly, the internships, like I was already exposed to the photography world a little bit. I had started shooting a little bit for Atlantic Records in 2016 when I was still technically in college. So I always tell the story about the All the Way Up video with Fat Joe and Remy Ma, which like if you watch it, I'm in it for like 2 seconds because
what?
Yeah, like it's super weird. But they wanted like Black and like Spanish ice skaters in like a strip club. Like it was super random. So I ended up like being in this video. I brought my camera, took some BTS shots, sent the shots to like the producer, the director, like, hey, like I was on this set, like I'm a photographer, my name is Flo, blah, blah. And I remember being really upset because I didn't realize that sets are so long, like video sets. So I thought I was there for 2 hours. I was there like the whole day.
The whole day, like an 18-hour day. Like what?
Literally.
For one shot? For 2 seconds?
Yeah, just to watch the video and be like, damn, like I barely made the cut. So anyway, the person who produced the video sent my work to one of the VPs at Atlantic Records, and then she stayed in touch. Well, not stayed in touch with me. She reached out to me when Gucci first was off house arrest and came to New York City. He was doing a press run, and so he was at like different radio stations and magazines, and I was interning, right? Like I was in college / like interning and like getting hit up like to come like shoot Gucci like Fashion Week or shoot Gucci like doing this. And then the same camp that worked with Gucci also worked with Cardi, and so obviously like since they were working with me and like the way I was capturing their artists, they kind of gave me that opportunity. So in 2017, the BET Hip Hop Awards in Miami, that was my first time getting like flued out or whatever. So I got to, like,
she got flued out.
Yeah, that was so awesome. But I was able to capture her. That was the year that Bodak Yellow really popped, and she was doing her first like live performance of it. It was her first time winning like awards, like real awards like that. And I was super excited, but then I was like, damn, like this is like so exciting. And I'm like, you know, at Philippe Chow with Cardi B, and she's giving me advice on like about like me being upset about like my internship and stuff like that.
What?
And I don't think I can sit in this like environment anymore and like not do like, you know, something I'm like excited about. And not to say that there was anything bad about those internships, like I mean those ad agencies, but I think it just was a timing thing. I think it just wasn't meant for me to be there because I was super excited and I wanted to do more, but it was just like I wasn't actively, you know, I was getting there a couple minutes late every day. I was like doing other stuff on the computer, and so the guys one of the creative directors there were like, yeah, you should just be a photographer. And I was like, no, like I don't want to like, I almost didn't want to risk it. Like I just didn't know if that's what I wanted to do. But long story short, yeah, the same person who gave me the opportunity to work with Gucci, I was in the middle of literally sending an email to take on another job at an ad agency someplace else, and that would be my first like real job and not an internship. And so she like called me to she wanted me to shoot the Be Careful BTS or something like that. And I was like, oh, like I'm about to get a job. And she literally called me like, what are you doing? She was like, you're a photographer, like you're creative, like why are you getting a job? And I was just like, cause I need one. And I had to literally turn the Wi-Fi off. I had to literally turn the Wi-Fi off on my computer so the email didn't send when I was accepting the offer. So yeah, that was really
Literally,
intense.
like the same moment you were sending the email
No,
is when you
I
got the
kid you
call?
not. I had to like I had to turn the Wi-Fi off of my computer so the email didn't like go through. Like I had like literally was sending it, and I was like, it was a weird time thing. I was in a cafe. I remember I was like in Hell's Kitchen or something, and so yeah, things like that happened, and I'm like, damn. Like I think maybe this was meant to happen.
Oh my gosh. Well, obviously it was meant to happen. Like that is crazy. So the Be Careful was the first BTS video that you shot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I've done Be Careful. Oh, no, sorry. Barty and Cardi was the first one. So I've done Barty and Cardi, Be Careful, Please Me, and Press. No. Yeah,
Press.
Press.
Yes, you
Press.
did. You definitely did press. Yes.
Yeah. Those
Yes.
are my little roster, and then like Met Gala 2018 and 2019. So her first and second one. And then other little random things like sometimes Colin would be like, "Hey Flo, like I need to get a good shot of like Cardi's outfit. Can you like
Yes.
just here, like stuff like that."
Exactly.
On
Colin is Cardi's
Instagram.
stylist, by the way, for
Yes,
those of you who don't
Colin
know.
is
Yes.
Cardi's amazing, talented stylist.
Amazing, talented stylist.
I feel bad. Someone just texted me like, "Can't wait to see your live," and I'm like on it right now. Like,
Like, sorry. But yeah, so okay, that's amazing. So how has that been? Like, I mean, again, you weren't even sure that you wanted to do this, right? Like, you weren't sure that this is
yeah.
what you were gonna do. It's almost like your talent made room for you. You know how they say your
Mm,
gift makes room for you? Like, it's
mm,
almost just like the other people saw it for you and were like,
yeah.
what are you talking about? You're a
Yeah.
photographer.
Literally, literally. I mean, I think that happens sometimes. I think I knew I wanted to be creative in some capacity, no matter what. Like when I was in advertising, it was to be a creative director or an art director, and
Hmm.
like that. So I knew like eventually the photo would come out. Like at both internships, I was very vocal about. Oh, yeah, like Lainey's like we saw. It. Yeah, it's. I think it was coming out. It was like bursting out the seams. Like let's say I worked under you, I would be like, oh my gosh, CJ, like look at my website. Like I would be excited to talk about my work. And I
Okay.
applied for both internships using a photography portfolio, not even like a design portfolio. So I guess they still saw the eye and still hired me on the
Yes.
strength of that. But I knew it would happen, I think, eventually. But I think that I have all this time. Like, honestly, I'm just winging it. Like, I'm just out here.
That is so funny that you say that. Like yesterday, we posted something about what did it say? Like no one else knows what they're doing either. It's the
Yeah,
idea that like you know what? Let's just start. And as creatives, I feel like we're always thinking so much, and it's just like oh my god. Sometimes it can be paralyzing because it's like what's the next step? But it's the
exactly.
idea of taking the next step and just taking the next step because we're all figuring it out because it's different for all of us. So in our
Yeah,
individual worlds, we are figuring
yeah,
it out. Even though somebody else might have figured it out and we might know what their
right.
blueprint is, our blueprint is still to be figured out. So we're all just figuring it out. So I love that you acknowledge that and you're transparent about the fact that you're like, I know I'm successful and I know y'all see it, but I'm figuring it out day to day.
And I think to add on to that, the beautiful thing is that the more that people create their own blueprints, the more room it gives other people to understand that like there's not like a formula. Like you can like I can look at your journey and your journey, and like since it's all so different, like I can be inspired by them all, but that ultimately allows me to create my own. You know what I mean? And
Ooh.
it doesn't have to be like go to art school, do this, do that. Like a lot of like the most talented people I know don't have formal training, or they do, maybe like were, people who were exposed to the creative uh, arts at a young age, or they weren't, or they won't. And I think that's the beautiful thing too, especially being an African woman, like, and a child
Mm.
of two like African parents. Like, people are always like, wow, your parents were okay with that, like, you know, like, you want you to be a doctor, and that's a real question. But the
That's a
thing
real
is that,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, like, when people once thought that the blueprint to success and the blueprint to like a financially stable life equaled doing this job and being in school for this many years,
This
and now it's like,
long, and then yes,
yeah,
that ain't it.
so.
That ain't it. Okay, so you even just talked about that in terms of your African roots. How do you feel like your African roots have impacted your perspective as an artist? Like, do you think it gives you a unique lens in terms of how you approach photography? Like, what do you, yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bittersweet. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I think imposter syndrome definitely kicks in for me a lot as far as like who I am within like my African identity. Like, it's really, and that's a whole other live, a whole other conversation. But like, I know we don't have so much time, so I guess I'll just say, like, you know, my dad was first and foremost like a big part of my life. He passed away like over a decade ago, but he was
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
um
that.
thank you. But he was a brilliant man, and he was in like design, and he used to show me like his little books and stuff. And he never actually saw me become an artist, but I think I feel that energy. I feel that like
Mm,
ancestral, like, you know, like, I feel like, I don't know. I think it's more than me. Like, it definitely is. Like, I look at my work that I was doing when I was like 15 and 16, literally like up here, and I was just like, how, like, where was that coming from? Like, what was that? So, I think, yeah, like, being around my mom, who was a someone who did hair for like years, like growing up in a hair salon, around other like African women, just like being creative, just honestly in the way that they were like getting their bread and like, you know, doing hair for people. At that time, I didn't think much of it, but as I've gotten older, I look back and I think that that kind of like resilience, that kind of like hunger, that that go-getter mentality, you know, that by any means necessary mentality is something I definitely picked up from my parents, even in them picking up all their stuff and moving to this country. You know what I mean? So I think
yeah,
that's the way that I see it manifest the most in like my life, and the way I see it manifest the most in the way that I move. Because honestly, like,
gotcha.
I'm like I said, I'm not really like, I mean, now it's a lot more strategic, but it has always been this way. But I think just even in my subconscious, like, just not having any fear about the rooms I'm in, or just going into things, just letting my talent speak for itself, or trying to. It's
Yes.
definitely my parents.
Let your talent speak for itself. I love that. Okay, and I think that you have like such a mature eye, and I mean, again, you're mature, but I think you have a mature eye and a sensitivity towards your subjects. Like, and so how did you develop that? Like, even when I look at some of your images, whether it's Cardi, whether it's Gucci, whether it's you know, whoever it might be, someone on the street, it's almost like you're not there, but we captured the moment, and
Yeah.
that moment that you captured feels so thought out and deliberate, as opposed to I'm just taking a snapshot. So how did you develop that, you know, that eye?
I say always that first and foremost, like, growing up, like, being in a classroom where I was able to, like, you know, have the resources to like look at a textbook and stuff, kind of planted the seed for me to go and like understand a bit more about photography and what I liked about it. So like, yes, we learned like the technical stuff. Like, I was able to take pictures and develop in a dark room and print my work. But then it was honestly just like being on Tumblr, like seeing like really amazing work and seeing like really awesome accounts that posted like the work of people like Gordon Parks, or like honestly, like any street photographer, really. I can't even pick one. Like, street photography was the first thing that inspired me. And so seeing
Hmm.
that, I was like, yo, like, there's something about this spontaneity, the timing, the expression, like, those are the things I began to appreciate about photography. And then when I went along and started making my own images, that's the stuff that I think started to come out, because that's what I like. Those are the images that resonated most with me. So I started to try to implement that in my own way with my own photos. And in general, I think that I really am a people person. Like, I've always been like a talker. I've always been like social as fuck. Like, I think that that's I think that, coupled with like the medium of photography, allows my work to kind of come out like, you know, however like it does.
Got you. However, it does. It does. It does. So tell me this: what is the key element? Like again, this platform is for other creators, inspiring, motivating, encouraging, and we talk about the creatives and creative process. So tell me, what are some key elements of your creative process that you think have led to your success?
Uh, uh, um, Dang, I don't really think about. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think a part of it is very intentional, and the part of it is not at all. I think that when I'm not thinking about it on the forefront. Like, so for example, when I'm in an element of when I'm in my element and like I'm taking pictures, like if you ask people, if you see me, like I look insane. Like I'll be hopping around, I'll be like moving. Like you should even see me like when I've been shooting my mom recently. When I've been photographing her, it's so funny because she's like walking. And I'm like I'm getting right back into like the way I shoot when I'm with Cardi or if I was with Gucci. Like just that movement of people. Like I just respond like very quickly. So I think that is very Sixth Sense. And
Got
I think
you.
on the other end of that, like when I'm actually at my computer and editing and stuff, it's definitely like being patient. I definitely have like a bit of perfectionism in me, so I don't like. I think a photo has to feel finished to me. Like it has to feel like there's definitely like a thing that like I'm working towards, and like when I see it and feel it, I'm like, okay, this is done. So it's about like being honestly, I think being yourself, like being able to just like engage with my subjects, like using that, like using my gab, like that helps a lot. Being like someone who moves a lot. I have been trying to work on like putting my ego down a little bit. I think that's really important for photographers, like or
Mm,
creatives in general, like not thinking that you're at this certain level of whatever, so you let that get in the way of what you're creating or what you want to do. And then on the other side of it, just being really, I think technically sound. Like I really believe that editing is really important. I think a lot of people like take great pictures but don't know how to edit, or a lot of people take maybe okay pictures but have great editing. So it's really like a scale. I think it just depends on like what you want to show, what you want to share, what you value. But for me, those are the sort of things that weigh into my process.
got you. Okay. So you were just talking about how you move around with Cardi, etc. Tell me, like, what is that experience like behind the scenes of a video shoot? It's so much going on. There's so many players. The production has their own agenda and schedule. How do you balance? How do you like find the moments where you can fit in and jump in and capture these authentic moments, within all of what's going on?
Hi, Amira.
Hi,
I think
Amira.
I think like it's the same parts of my brain that I've always used. Like it's the same like parts of my brain that I was using when I was taking photos like in my neighborhood, like for my high school class, or like of my family, like when I was learning to use my camera. I think I don't think about like the context that much. Like, it comes out in the images, but I think my focus is like what is beautiful to me, like what am I seeing and reacting to. So um I think with her, like I'm just a little bit more obsessed. Like I haven't worked with her in a while, so when I speak on my experience with her, I always say like I shot her, like past tense, like for like 2 years. So it's been a I mean, yesterday probably would have been like another moment, but
Yeah.
um I think that in 2018, 2019, when I was like doing more of like the BTS and stuff, I think I just kind of became a little obsessed with her private moments, like her smaller moments, her candid moments, because they just felt more interesting and they just felt a little bit realer. And
Mm,
yeah, like I think seeing like a set, like being on a set, seeing production is really awesome because you're having like this extra lighting and like the styling and the makeup, and it makes things look larger than life. But then on the flip side, like this iconic person, this celebrity person, like them within themselves is still like she's still like Belle Callis to herself. You know what I mean? Like she's still who she is, like to her family and to her daughter and to her husband. And so
mm.
to me in general, I've always just been a bit more interested in like that kind of like introspective, like those moments that people have, because we all have that. And I think that's what people appreciate about the images. It's a relatable thing. It's like I don't know, it's a nice thing to know that someone of that like status and like with that much success and fame can still like be this like kind of more fragile like human being. Because I mean, yeah, celebrities are like fucking human beings, and people do too much. So
They do too much. And I look at it almost like, I mean, what type of photography are you passionate about? Yes, you have these BTS moments, but then you're like a real bona fide photojournalist. But it seems like you pair those worlds because even with Cardi, I see that
yeah,
as more photojournalism as opposed
yeah.
to behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think photojournalism is like if you ask me what I do, I'll say like I'm a portrait photographer and like a photojournalist. Like that's really what I'm super passionate about. Like that's just the kind of photography that moves me like nothing else. You know, I'm really obsessed with like looking at images from different countries. Like a lot of like, you know, the standard like Times photographers, like people in the trenches or doing photo stories around the world. Like I love that. And I don't know, I think it feels honest, I think it feels truthful. And then when it's executed in a good like visual way, you know, like I'm sort of like a nerd for like light and composition and contrast and stuff. So I think I've
Yeah.
always just been like, this just feels better. Like I'm not that into like landscapes and like abstract art. No shade to like anyone who does that, but I think even I remember I used to sit in my high school like classroom, and when we had like our photo critiques, I used to be so upset. I was like, y'all make me feel like something. I'm like, I'm like, I don't feel anything. So yeah,
Like, what is this? Okay. Okay, so do you feel the impact on the community and the culture as a young photographer? Like, do you like your impact that you have? Again, you've been featured in the Times with real, powerful images. You've been featured, with the Cardi moment. So you have these pop culture moments, but also these cultural moments. Like, do you feel any pressure or the impact of your work? Or do you try to be deliberate about what that impact is? I know that's a weighted question.
and I'm like, these
Take
are
it where
good
you want.
questions. um, I mean, I think if I said I didn't, I'd be lying. But I feel like I feel it because people tell me, and then I understand. Because even like in thinking about the photos I've taken of Cardi, like if you ask, I mean, me at like 21 years old, I was shooting these pictures, like with like low resolution, like JPEG, like whatever is going on her Instagram. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really think that much of it. And then I think as I've gotten a little older, I mean, it's only been like fucking 2 years, but like as I've gotten a little older, like
A little
I've
older.
I, I've understood a bit more of like what that means, and just like even now, like people like hit me up to license the photos that I've taken, you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh shit, like I have exclusive access to this like human being for like a long time, and those some of those images are very different than any photos ever taken. So I think it's come to me a bit over the years, but I think I think work that feels a bit more like culturally impactful is like the figure skating in Harlem story for the Times. Like that was so powerful to me. That was
Yes.
like, to me it's like, well, first of all, doing that was such a blessing, and then hearing from the organization that people donated money. Like I ended up being on the Today Show because Al Roker saw the story,
Really?
and then like, yeah, oh my gosh, I'll send you that clip. Yeah, it's
Yes.
so
I didn't
funny.
know that.
Yeah, so Al Roker saw the story in the Times, and then he came to like Riverbank State Park. Like, so he was literally up in Harlem. He was on skates, like trying to do it. It was so funny. Like,
Yes.
it was awesome. And then then they asked him to host the gala last year. So sitting there, like in the
And
at the
that's
gala,
because of your work. I mean,
yeah,
a
like that.
large part of that
That
is
was
because of
dope.
your work.
That was
That's
that,
amazing.
that was dope. I was like, and then he made like a big donation, and like obviously it was on the Today Show. That was important because I was a young woman once who benefited from people's donations. Like I wouldn't have been able to afford to like figure skate. I wouldn't have been able to afford to be a photographer if it wasn't for people like contributing, being on financial aid at like a fucking private school, or that my parents like hustled to get me into, or like hustled to find out about this skating program. So it's all very like, those are very full circle moments to me, and I think that feels really important. I love being able to have the platform of like celebrities, or like how much people care about celebrities, to bring more attention to like who I am and my work. That's a blessing that I can't take for granted. But I think overall, it feels a lot better to know that like people are directly benefiting from my work in the way I just explained.
So amazing. Okay. How do you remain passionate about what you're doing? Like, and even, you know what? I
Again,
want to pair this with
crazy.
another. I want to pair this with another question so then it can relate to others. What is your advice for creatives to remain passionate about what they're doing?
I think that like I think a lot, and sometimes I overthink, and because my mind is always like racing, like that's also like why I talk so fast. I've realized like it's just me trying to like get my shit out before I need to like catch my thoughts before they get away. Like literally, that's how I feel. But I think just kind of you have to keep yourself stimulated in some way. Like for some people, maybe it's different than others. But I have really like great conversations with myself. I talk to myself like kind of a lot, and I talk to the people around me a lot as well. And I think I just like I appreciate knowledge and knowing more and learning more. And so for me, that's what also keeps the passion alive, like learning more things about photography, seeing other photojournalists and other stories in different places and being like, damn, like I would have never known about this unless this was captured. And then just knowing like that's what I want to do. I want to be able to like do that same thing and benefit someone else's life in that way of just exposing them to something that they maybe knew or didn't know about. So I'm always trying to think. I'm always like trying to write things down. Sometimes like I'm not like great at it, but I think it's about just staying on your toes. Like just don't be dormant. Just don't get too comfortable. Laziness is like literally the devil. Like you have to just be active. Like life is, I mean, we're seeing especially now, life is just so fucking short. Like you just can't afford to let your dreams die.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Okay, we only have 4 minutes. This is devastating me. You know we're gonna have to do something else. We can make it later and later in life, but we have to do something else, okay? Real quick, I want to ask a couple more questions. Just like quick personal questions. What's your favorite music video of all time?
It's this one. I don't remember the band, but it's like these horses being ridden by like people. It's
Old
so
Town Road?
Rudimental. It's Rudimental, but they like went to like Chicago or somewhere. You know, like how black people ride horses. Like you know how that's a thing. Like, I never knew that was a thing. I never knew that was a thing, and then I watched that video, and it made me cry. Like it was powerful. So that's my favorite video. It's like,
I'm looking at that up for sure. You know
Feel,
what?
Feel the Love. That's what it's called. Like
Feel the Love. Okay, I love it. Okay, quick. We're gonna do an either or. You ready?
No, but sure.
Okay, in studio or on location?
On location.
Black and white or color?
Black and white.
Film or digital?
What?
Film or digital?
Digital.
Compassion or tough love?
Oh, compassion.
Yes. Piercings or tattoos?
Tattoos.
Yes. Obama or Oprah?
Sorry.
What'd you say? Okay.
Obama.
Okay. Technique or talent?
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, I came for you on that one. Technique
I don't
or talent?
know. Can we skip it?
Okay.
It's really
All
both.
right, fine. Okay, both. David LaChapelle or Annie Leibovitz? Random.
I would say Annie, I guess. David is
I would think you would.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Late night or early morning?
Early morning.
Text or call?
Call.
Call. I love it. Okay, word association, real quick. Culture.
People.
Quarantine.
Home.
Cardi B.
Offset.
Creativity.
Talent.
Passion.
Perseverance.
Gordon Parks.
Harlem.
Film.
Digital.
Love.
My mom.
Yes. Harlem.
My home.
I love it. Okay. Well, we only have like 2 minutes. What's a quote to live by?
Oh, fuck. Do it with passion or don't do it at all.
Yeah! That is everything, but that's everything. Okay. It's saying I have 1 minute and 6 seconds left. Flo, damn. I love you. I really appreciate you. This was great. We're gonna have to. That was fun, right? We're gonna definitely have to do a part 2 for sure. I appreciate you.
Thank you. The whole time.
It was so
your energy
good.
your energy is so like I'm gonna like study your little like lives and just see how I can like get the mannerisms and stuff.
You
Like you're such a cool
know,
guy.
thank you so much. No, I'm about this life and I love creatives. And I was so excited about talking to you because I think you're so talented and you're the future and you got next. And thank you for coming on and sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you people for
Okay.
tuning in. I appreciate it and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week.
Yes. Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Okay, so that was Flo and Gala. Okay, I have 10 seconds. Tomorrow I have Yusef Williams, Rihanna's hairstylist. He's amazing. He's epic. He's gonna drop gems. I'm excited about it. Thank you guys for clocking in. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Cheers, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm clocking out. Peace.